Not till I finish my new beans and hot dogs in smoky bacon sauce. That took the wind out of their sails.
Beans, straight beans, mighty meaty.
Beans.
No time for small talk, Garfield. It's Christmas morning, and you know what that means.
Presents, lots and lots of presents.
Garfield on video. The Fat Cat stars in a Garfield Christmas special. The perfect gift for $9.99. And look out for the Garfield 3 video box set. These Garfield videos out now.
Hello and welcome back. Now, have you ever been into a museum where you not only see the past, you can actually smell it? You know, things like the smell of pigs and chickens at the Viking Museum in York, or the whiff of an air raid shelter at the Imperial War Museum. Well, it's all done by our next guest, Fred Dale, who makes his living by bottling odd odours. But before we find out how it's done, let's see how some of Fred's concoctions fared when we put them to the nose test.
Oh, horrible smell.
What does it smell like?
Like some violet smell. Violet.
Violets?
Yeah, but it's not a nice smell.
It's supposed to be a farmyard.
Don't say yet. Let me have a smell first.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
I know it smells of.
What is it?
Some fruit or something.
Oh,
it ain't fruit.
fruit or
No,
something.
it's not fruit. Fish?
Well done. It's a fish market.
It's a spirit of some kind, alcohol, whiskey, vodka, something like that.
Yeah, have a large one of them, yeah.
Like an antiseptic?
Like a what?
Antiseptic.
Very good. It's supposed to be a hospital. So what does that remind you of?
Oh. Smells like manure.
Like manure?
To me. What is it?
No, it's supposed to be a fish market. It's not the farmyard.
Smells like a baby nappy, that does. Oh, God, that's horrible. No, I don't like that.
It's supposed to be a fish market.
I said it smelled like
Well, I wouldn't buy
manure.
fish from there, no way.
Fred, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Tell me, Fred, why do you do this?
Well, there is a demand for it, strangely enough, and the more unpleasant the smells, the greater the demand.
Oh, I see. Well, who wants these unpleasant smells, though? Who wants them?
Well, I think the past of smells which were very unpleasant, more so than today, it does bring alive the settings, that third dimension, the nose. We can have marvellous visual effects and sound effects, but to add that third dimension, the smell really does bring the place to life.
Now, museums, I know, use your smells, but who else? Who asks you to actually go and create these smells?
Well, as you say, museums, theme parks, but we do use them for the elderly to recreate the smells of the past. And it does bring back lots of memories for them, the coal fire, for example, and the old days, and they can recall these days very vividly.
How do you go about, though, making a smell? How do you do that?
Well, it's a very complex system. We have an aromatist, and he composes, this is the way that it's done, by composing low, middle and high notes. And by mixing the various sections of these three, he comes out with the smell that we want.
Is it like making perfume? Is it the same
Very,
kind
very
of
much the same, yes.
idea?
Yeah.
Gosh, what kind of smells, though, do old people miss, do you think? You've said about fires and things like that, but...
Yes, I think perhaps wash day is another typical example when the lady of the house used to wash on a Monday and the house used to reek of wash powder, starch, and these smells, of course, have disappeared now. Everything's just put into a machine and away there's no smells at all.
Do they last, though, the smells that you create? Do they last for a long time?
Yes, they do, actually, because with the system that we use, they just reactivate the apparatus with the oil, perhaps every 3 or 4 days.
And what's the most difficult kind of smell to create? What's a problem for you?
Inorganic smells, such as freshly ground coffee, Freshly baked bread is another one that we're having difficulty in creating, and there's a lot of demand for that. Shops want to entice the people in to buy the goods, and if we can introduce these appetising smells, it's quite a good advertising.
Cheating.
Cheating, yes.
It is. But you've got some here. Can we maybe have a smell of something?
Well, that's random.
What's this?
That is a freshly brewed tea. That one we use in the Cutty Sock. It's a clipper, and they used to bring the tea. Now that is raw tea, or freshly brewed tea.
Do you want to go with this? What do you think of that? Do you think it's like raw tea?
I think it's very good, actually.
It's good,
yes,
isn't
I do. Yes.
Why don't you give me one? I've been warned we mustn't smell the dragon's breath.
Oh,
apparently it's appalling, really bad.
Again, we talk about reminiscing. This was a street air raid shelter, a communal one, and believe me, that.
Oh, gee. That's terrible.
I'm glad you checked then, Lorraine, just in time. Jeepers, you were going to say, weren't you? Cool, that is strong.
It's terrible. Have you not got a nice one?
Well, those that remember the war years, of course, they will recollect the smells of those. Oh, this one. So you recognise that one.
Oh yes, sweeties. Sweeties.
They're good.
That is
They're
creamy
very
toffee.
good,
The toffee that comes in a slab, and you have a little hammer and you break it up, and that is the creamy toffee.
And that, what would the best use for that be?
That again is in the war years. Eden Camp in Yorkshire have reproduced the war years, and in York, of course, there are a lot of sweets and factories there, and the smell used to permeate through the streets, and that was the smell during the war years.
Where's the dragon's breath? Come on.
Oh no, don't.
Come on.
Oh,
no, come on. Let's try the dragon's breath.
No.
There it is. That's the one. Next one up. That's
one?
it. Let's have a.
Right.
Oh no.
And what's the demand for dragon's breath?
You're very brave, Richard.
I'm not doing it.
Very strong.
Oh.
Actually,
quick.
The people who said that it reminded them of a nappy was very good, actually, because there is quite a bit of ammonia in there. So they were very accurate.
Oh, that's terrible. Terrible.
Well, very well done.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And just what appears to be the table light.
Well, that is the way we dispense the oils in a small electrically operated unit. The oil is simply placed into the beaker, and when that's switched on, it heats up and vaporises or atomises this into the atmosphere. In the studio, we could fill the whole of the studio, but we find it's not necessary to cover large areas, as long as we cover the entrance, so that when people walk into the setting, at that point is all that's necessary. But it does bring on a lot of research as far as smell's concerned, because we don't use our nose, perhaps as we did many years ago. Children today have a very limited memory of smells.
Oh. Well, Fred, thank you very much for bringing all your smells.
Thank you very much.
They will linger, I'm sure, especially the dragon's breath.
We'll be thinking about you all morning, Fred.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Time for Rough and Ready, but let's, before we meet the boys, wish a very happy birthday to some fans. Robert Tanner, who's 4 today. His mum forgot to tell us where he lives, but happy birthday wherever you are, Robert.
And best wishes to Rachel Lisette Hartwell.